right, we start in the Free State. The Jagersfontein community is still reeling from the mine dam wall burst that resulted in the death of one person and the destruction of several homes. On Tuesday, there were reports of another dam wall collapsing, but authorities say it was merely water overflowing over an embankment wall due to heavy rains. eNCA's Aviwe Mtila is in the area and joins us with the latest. Good morning yet again, Aviwe. I see now you have headed to those homes that were destroyed in the first incident. It looks quite devastating, and one doesn't assume that they will be able to rebuild any time soon, this year in particular. Aviwe, I don't know if you can hear me.
No audio.
All right. Unfortunately, it seems we don't have Aviwe as yet. We'll try to re-establish the line to him. But as you can see there, that's just the destruction. The sludge is still there. There's clearly a lot that needs to be done before people are brought back to their homes there, possibly next year, June, it seems. But let's take you to this story now. The Black Business Council says the Eskom board and CEO Andre de Ruyter are to blame for the woes at the power utility. Yesterday, Eskom implemented stage 4 power cuts indefinitely as it awaits diesel supply. The council CEO, Matabane, has some harsh words for the utilities leadership.
When you look at the CEO of Eskom and the COO, they've been there for almost 3 years. And in that 3 years, what we were expecting, hence we welcomed the appointment of the Eskom CEO, because our expectations were not necessarily high, but we're saying at least if he can stabilize the system. We're not even looking for improving the system. We're saying if he can stabilize the system, and then we have load shedding for a certain period, we even gave him 2 years. So say if you continue with this load shedding for 2 years, and then at least we know after 2 years there will be that certainty, and companies can plan proper. And unfortunately, that did not happen. So hence we are saying the shareholder should then should have taken a decision long time ago to say, but CEO, you're not performing, and then if you're not performing, then you must leave. But we're including the board in this because the board, ideally in a normal environment, the board is supposed to hold the CEO to account. So when the CEO agrees and say, I'm here, my job is to make sure that there's electricity in South Africa, the board should continuously on a quarterly basis evaluate and say, but you are not here. So you are here, you're getting paid every month, but there's no electricity in the country.
All right, let's take you back to the story from Jagersfontein, where the community is still reeling from the mine dam wall burst. Our reporter, Aviwe Mtila, is on the ground for us this morning and joins us yet again. Aviwe, hopefully second time will be a charm. Can you just talk us through the destruction that you're seeing there?
I hope you can hear me this time around, Mfundo, and what you're seeing, you'd be forgiven for thinking that it's those outside toilets that you normally see in some of these settlement areas. It's not, Mfundo. That was a house that was destroyed by the dam collapse and the surge of the water that swept through Jagersfontein, and that's literally the portion that's left of it. I'm just going to drive by to show you some of the damage caused by, of course, this dam collapse and the sludge that's now been currently collected by the excavators that we showed you a bit earlier on. You can see even the levels of the water and how it was flowing as we drive by, the markings of the mud, essentially. You can see the roofs that have been destroyed here. It looks like a ghost town, Fundo, and you can see just the thickness of the mud on the ground here, as my colleague Joe Komane shows you from the back of the van here as we drive by, trying to show you the extent then of the damage here. The people, we do understand, have been moved to places such as Bloemfontein, some of them in the community areas, where we do understand there's a program that's supposed to be underway from 10 o'clock where relief is supposed to be coming through from government, but you can see that it's still quite thick on the ground. There's a lot of sludge on the ground, bearable to walk in, essentially. You can see the damage, some of the windows broken, completely destroyed, some Jojo tanks even laying bare on the ground here. Unlivable at this stage, Mfundo. Hence, we're seeing now, we understand the Premier will be on the ground here. The Free State Premier Sisintombela, and we do understand the community, well, what's left of it, will be then addressed at 3 o'clock or around SASA interventions, as well as the interventions for child support grant, where then there's a prayer service. Understand that there are those that are still unfound as these excavators are still even on the ground, taking out the sludge and the slime that's left and the destruction of the aftermath, of course, of that tragic incident that happened weeks ago here.
No, it's honestly unfortunate because it looks like it's a long road ahead. But these are people's life savings. In there is people's furniture. And in the world that we live in, when homes are left like that, vacated, there will be those that are unfortunately inhumane that will come and steal whatever they can steal in there. So meaning people will be starting from scratch, Aviwe, even with the little bit of furniture or whatever they could have salvaged in there. It will be taken by thieves.
In fact, Mfundo, we saw similar sights, what you're exactly mentioning this very moment, across the road here, where the similar scenes, what you're seeing here, is what you'll be met with. We saw a number of, I'll call youth, that were actually taking some of the scraps that are left on the ground there. I'm not sure what they'll be doing with them, but they were just going through even some of the cars, as you'd understand. I've seen at least a dozen cars in the last hour or so that have been on the ground here. And that's what's been currently taken by these youths now. So you'll hope that there will be some intervention coming here. What I'm seeing is just tragic here. There's this house that I'm not sure, it's a face-bricked house. And just on the garage, the destroyed garage door that you see, underneath there is a polo that we can see. I'm not sure the condition of that polo, but you mentioned the furniture. Inside this very house are those couches. And you'd assume that it's something that the family was proud of and bought with, quality couches that are completely destroyed now. These families have to start from scratch. As we understand, there is relief coming in from government in terms of those food parcels, but we're not sure how far it will go in terms of then getting these families and their life savings back on track, Mfundo, what we're told. And then is this briefing that will be happening, but it's only around the SASA interventions and the child support interventions. Not sure what's going to happen for the dozens of houses, hundreds of houses essentially, that I myself have seen just in the last hour around Jagersfontein that have been completely destroyed here by this collapse of this dam.
And that's the unfortunate reality, that there'll never be enough money to really assist them to get their lives to where they once were. Honestly, a very, very tragic incident. But as even the community has stated, that you'd have to have the mind being the one that sees to assisting them to rebuild. But we'll leave it there for now, Aviwe. Thank you very much for that update. That's senior reporter Aviwe Mtila out in Jagersfontein for us. Now,